Good afternoon and welcome to the Lake Marion Bridge's groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you for joining us today, and my name is Marty Sauls, and I have the distinct honor and privilege to serve as the SCDOT 6th Congressional District Commissioner for South Carolina. So we're here today to celebrate the start of a much anticipated project, the construction of the Interstate 95 bridges over Lake Marion. This is without a doubt one of the most significant infrastructure investments in South Carolina's history and part of a larger effort by the South Carolina Department of Transportation, the U.S. Department of Transportation, and state and local officials to make the I-95 corridor safer and more reliable for thousands of vehicles that travel this route daily. We're happy to have a long list of supporters here with us today as well, including Governor McMaster, Representative Clyburn, as well as Senator Graham and our Federal Highway Commissioner, Mr. Sean McMaster. I'm also happy to have with me today our SCDOT Commission Chairman, Mr. Max Metcalf from Greenville, Commissioner Curtis Spence from Sumter, and Commissioner Thomas Rhodes, who is one of the two at-large commissioners in the state. And at this time, I would like to invite Commissioner Rhodes to please come forward.
Thanks, Marty. Welcome aboard. My name is Thomas Rhodes, like Marty said, and I'm one of the two at-large commissioners for SCDOT. Now, folks, while I represent the entire state, this area is deeply personal to me. Many people call this area several different things: Lake Marion, Santee Cooper Country, but I simply call it home because I grew up 10 miles behind me in the town of Somerton. You know, we've often joked, and those of y'all that live in this area, we've all often joked that the Santee River Basin is known as the Mesopotamia of South Carolina. And as a native, I think that's about right. Within just a 10-mile radius of where we're standing, you'll find some of the most significant sites in our state's history. 10 miles east is the site of the Revolutionary War Battle of Eutaw Springs. Just behind us is the Santee Indian Mound, which served as Fort Watson during the Revolutionary War. And just a few miles further is my hometown, like I mentioned. In Somerton, if you haven't been there, is a small two-stoplight town with an outsized place in history. It's the home of the landmark civil rights case Briggs v. Elliott, filed in 1950, which became one of the 5 cases that consolidated into Brown versus Board of Education. So it's fitting that today becomes another historic moment for this region and our state. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Governor McMaster, Senator Graham, and Congressman Clyburn for their leadership and collaboration in this project. They all embody what I refer to, and this is a DOT metaphor, as having a windshield mentality, where they focus on the future while learning from the past. This bridge represents exactly that. This project will help unlock that new opportunity, driving economic growth on both sides of this lake, strengthening connectivity, and enabling critical infrastructure like expanded water service to the north side of Lake Marion. This is how we move a region forward. And at this time, I'd like to introduce my good friend, Secretary Justin Powell. Secretary Powell leads more than the 4,000 employees at SCDOT and oversees a $6.6 billion construction program, along with one of the largest state highway systems in the country. But more importantly, Justin leads with character. I want to tell y'all a quick story. On my first day as commissioner, I attended the SCDOT Rodeo, where our maintenance teams compete in a series of events. And after that event, there's an awards ceremony, and there was a lunch. And I noticed one thing about Justin that really impressed me. And although he was invited to eat first because he was seated at the head table, he waited until all 400 team members of SCDOT were served before getting his plate. That tells you everything you need to know about Justin Powell, about his leadership, and about what he's doing for our state. Justin?
Thank you, Commissioner Rhodes, and thank you for everybody who has come out to this special day in Orangeburg and Clarendon counties. You know, working in transportation takes fortitude. Projects of this size and complexity just don't happen by accident. They require planning, expertise, and a committed team. They also require strong partnerships between the local, state, and federal stakeholders to ensure that we are delivering something transformative for the community. Today marks a milestone not just for SCDOT, but for the entire state of South Carolina. And for me, it is especially rewarding to see it because it represents the best of Team South Carolina. I'm incredibly proud of the SCDOT team and our partners who've worked tirelessly to bring this project from concept to construction. I'm grateful of the contractor that has taken this project on. There's several members from the Balfour Beatty McLean team here with us, and even more industry partners that helped us bring this project this far and to make it shovel ready. This groundbreaking demonstrates our ability to build large-scale, transformative projects that deliver results for South Carolina. It reflects years of coordination, engineering, and a dedication to getting it right. This project, though, would not be possible without the leaders who recognized its importance early on and helped move it forward. Thank you to our General Assembly, who have Representatives Petalino and Senator Zell here. They have taken hard votes on building the big, beautiful infrastructure like the one you see behind us, and to do more of that across South Carolina. We're grateful for Governor McMaster, who continues to champion South Carolina infrastructure through communication, collaboration, and cooperation. Senator Graham, thank you for your tireless advocacy and support for improving South Carolina's infrastructure. Congressman Clyburn, your continued commitment is making this project a reality. You challenged me to make this a better project and more than just an interstate bridge. And thanks to you, this nationally significant and regionally transformative project is going off of sketches on the drawing board, and soon concrete and steel will be rising in Orangeburg and Clarendon counties. Team South Carolina's leadership helped position this project to compete for and secure critical federal grant funding. We also want to thank our federal partners and the administration for recognizing the national significance of this project. The support from USDOT and leadership from Secretary Duffy, Deputy Secretary Bradbury, Federal Highway Administrator McMaster, as well as Deputy Federal Highway Administrator Jay Payne, have all been instrumental in turning this project into a reality. This is a strong example of what can be accomplished when state and federal partners work together towards a shared goal. The I-95 bridges over Lake Marion are a critical link in one of the most important transportation corridors on the East Coast. What happens here not only impacts our state, but the movement of people and goods up and down the eastern seaboard. For South Carolina, this project is about safety, reliability, and economic strength. Now, the bridges have served us well for decades, but they are reaching the end of their useful life. Replacing them will ensure safer travel for our residents, our visitors, and the thousands of truckers who move commerce through our state every day. This investment strengthens our infrastructure and positions South Carolina for continued growth and prosperity. Today's groundbreaking is just the beginning. There's still a lot of work ahead of us, but we're ready for it. And SCDOT is committed to delivering a project that will serve South Carolina and the nation for years to come. I'd like to turn over the stage to Federal Highway Administrator Sean McMaster.
Hey, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today. I am excited to be back at the Department of Transportation. Couldn't be more excited to be down here on such an amazing day with such an amazing project underway. We aren't just talking about a bridge here, though. We're going to be breaking ground for I-95 Lake Marion Bridge Replacement Project. We're getting America building again with a focus on large, durable projects that enhance safety, while connecting our country and our people. As the Secretary previously pointed out, we inherited a backlog of grants, and he identified this bridge as a critically important infrastructure project. We are so excited to be able to get this project moving. We are moving at the speed of Trump, clearing a backlog of 3,200 unobligated grants. We are making critical investments in transportation infrastructure that will improve the lives of Americans across the country while strengthening the economy for years and decades and generations to come. The Secretary recently announced more than $700 million in major bridge grants this past week. And in fact, I'm proud to say that the Trump administration's first federal grant agreement under the Bridge Investment Program was for this project right here in South Carolina. USDOT signed the grant agreement last April, and I am happy to be here today to assist and support the groundbreaking of this critical project. In just 1 year, the administration and the Department of Transportation, under Secretary Duffy's leadership, has cleared the way for more than 72,000 unique projects at the Federal Highway Administration. Of these, more than 40,000 are construction projects all over the country. We are happy to join you here today for this Lake Marion project. This project is hugely important, and it will replace 4 existing bridges that connect Clarendon and Orangeburg counties in South Carolina. The aging 58-year-old bridges serve as a major freight artery for the East Coast, as well as a hurricane evacuation route. More than 39,000 vehicles a day cross these bridges behind us here. This commuters and truck traffic alike. This project is not just important for the state of South Carolina. We recognize the national and regional importance up and down the East Coast that support our economy. We are replacing these 4 outdated narrow bridges with one world-class structure, and I commend the governor and the SCDOT and Secretary Powell for their prioritization on this important project. We aren't just building for today's traffic, we're building for tomorrow's growth, with the capacity to expand to 4 lanes when South Carolina needs them. The bridge will include new shoulders and roadway approaches built to modern design standards, all of which will enhance safety and improve the traffic flow and ensure the movement of goods and people throughout the region. This type of bridge modernization is exactly what we need to ensure safety and efficiency for the traveling public while also reducing congestion along this high-capacity traffic route. This project will facilitate travel along the major freight artery that runs along the East Coast. It is critical to ensuring economic vitality throughout our region. The Trump administration is delivering $390 million in federal funding towards the total project cost of $490 million. We are proud to partner with South Carolina DOT to invest in the Lake Marion project, which is going to make a huge difference for families and businesses that rely on this critical corridor. This is what real results look like: cutting red tape, saving time and money, and delivering for South Carolina families. The Trump administration is committed to accelerating project delivery across the nation as we work to get America building again. I want to thank you for inviting me here today to be with you. We are proud to partner with South Carolina on this major infrastructure project. I look forward to continuing our strong partnership with SCDOT and all of our transportation partners and advocates in the state. We share a common interest in ensuring our nation's transportation system is as robust and the envy of the world. I look forward to our continued work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator McMaster. Next up is to introduce Governor Henry McMaster, who was already busy figuring out the genealogy of him and the administrator, true to form. So, Governor, if you don't mind sharing a few words.
Somebody said the magic words a little while ago, cooperation or something like that, or talking, communication. And you may have heard the story about the young couple. They bumped into each other somewhere, and it was just a thunderbolt. Fell in love right then. Didn't talk much, said, "Let's get married. I love you too. Let's get married." Had a very short ceremony because they didn't talk too much. Find a little house. "You like that house?" "I like that house." "Let's buy that house." They bought the house and moved in. Well, a couple of weeks later, the young groom was standing out in the front and looked at me. Here came old mama-in-law coming up the sidewalk, huffing and puffing like a steam engine, carrying her luggage. Walked right by him, went through the door, went upstairs, went in the bedroom, shut the door. Boy was sitting there and said, gosh. Well, that stayed. About 2 weeks later, he goes to his wife and says, baby, don't you think it's about time we find your mama someplace else to stay? She said, my mama, I thought she was your mama. That's what happens when you don't talk to each other. Well, we've been talking to each other a lot. And those two men on the end, Jim Clyburn and Lindsey Graham, we've been involved in more things back in the Biden administration and this one too. And I'll tell you one in particular, the Secretary Raimondo, Department of Commerce under President Biden, was looking to find 12 energy or technology and innovation hubs in the United States, just 12. And they had hundreds of applications from all over the place. And we got together and we visited and worked together, had some meetings in the Congressman's office and Senator Graham's office, and met with all the congressional delegation. And things were looking good. We were one of 30 were preliminarily selected. Now this is $40 to $50 million a year for technological innovation, that sort of thing, off the scale stuff that's really vitally needed right now. So it finally boiled down to the Secretary was calling and having conferences with the various states that they were looking at. Well, we were on the phone. I was in my office. Senator Clyburn was in his, and Senator Graham was his office, and Secretary Raimondo was in hers. And we were talking, and she was asking about the attributes of our plan and all that. And we chose electricity, power, which of course is the right thing to have chosen. Only going to be 12 selected. Anyway, we talked for a few minutes, and finally we were about time to hang up. And Senator Graham started cutting up as he usually does. And we were talking, and Secretary Raimondo said, "Gentlemen, this is remarkable. This is the first time since I've been in this office that I've ever had a bipartisan conversation like this." Well, that's how we get things done. And it was in 24, I think July 24, we were sitting over on the other side of the bridge when this grant of millions of dollars had been awarded to us. That comes from communicating, cooperating, and collaborating. And we are right here in South Carolina, in my opinion. This is the most consequential, interesting, exciting place in the whole country. As Thomas Rhodes mentioned, the Revolutionary War here, every war has been fought. We've been right in the middle of every single one of them. And that's one of the things that's made us so strong as a state and strong as people, because we've gotten to know each other and work together. But this from the Trump administration, this is a big step. And Mr. Secretary, we're delighted to have you here with us. I know your name. I can remember that. I didn't have to write that down. But we're looking forward to a lot more work together. We got great people in Washington right now. And here are two of them that we work with every day. And we're looking forward to much more for this great, great state. The state in which, by the way, the Revolutionary War was won. Right here. It started somewhere else. It was won here, and then they finished it up in Virginia, but this is where it was won. Just like they say Muhammad Ali really won that fight in the third round or the fourth round. Well, this is where the Revolutionary War was won. And I've got something for you from the people of the state, if you'll come forward, please. Pretty, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Give me $5. All right. This is the honorary Sandlapper Award. You know, this everybody, y'all can't, Jim and Lindsay, y'all can't get one because y'all are real Sandlappers. This is an honorary Sandlapper Award. But this was inspired by George Washington in his 1791 visit to South Carolina, because he learned that the people were called Sandlappers. Where'd that come from? We think that's what the British referred to us as, because Francis Marion in particular, who led the raid on that fort over there, and others, they'd go hide. They'd get down in the dirt, get behind the bushes. And so George Washington came up with the name, and it is quite an honor to be called a Sandlapper since it came from him. So I'll read it to you. The vote has come in, and you have been unanimously selected to receive this distinction. State of South Carolina, honorary Sandlapper. know ye on behalf of the state of South Carolina and are grateful people with highest appreciation and recognition for leadership, service, contribution, and achievement, carrying with it all the rights, privileges, and emoluments appertaining to a citizen of the Palmetto State. I do hereby officially bestow the honorary commission and title of Honorary Sandlapper upon Sean McMaster, who shall be authorized to share goodwill, civility, and comity with representatives, agents, and citizens of those states and nations that lie beyond the natural borders of South Carolina. Signed by me, Henry Dorgan McMaster, your proud, happy governor, on behalf of 5.4, almost 5 million and counting proud, happy South Carolinians. We thank you.
Governor,
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
There you go.
Thank you, Governor. Our next speaker is well known in these parts as Representative James Clyburn, the Dean of the South Carolina delegation to the Congress.
Thank you very, very much, Justin. You have been a great pleasure to work with. Governor, thank you. I'm glad to find out I'm a real sandlapper. Huh? I didn't know exactly what I was. Lynch leaned over to me and said, that's because you ain't got $5. But thank you so much for your visionary leadership to our great state, and thank you, Senator Graham, for your cooperative spirit to work with. Now, Commissioner Rhodes, I just want you to know that I'm a little bit of a history buff, as most of you know. And at the bottom of this lake is the original home of Thomas Sumter, for whom our hometown, Sumter, was named for. Now, I know you're from the other side of this lake, but there's something special about this bridge that I want to point out here today. Something really, really special. When I first got elected to Congress, before I was sworn in, I got a phone call from a former commissioner of secretary of economics. I don't know what we call it now. We used to call it the development officer. But Bob Royer, who I knew very well from his days at CNS National Bank, Bob called to me and he said to me, he said, now, I've been watching your campaign very closely, but none of the things you talked about can be achieved unless you solve the water problems right around Santee on Interstate 95. And he brought me to his office, and he had his staff put up a PowerPoint presentation to show me exactly what the problems were along I-95 and why it would be impossible for us to do the things that we dreamed about without solving those problems. Well, the day that we got the word that this grant, this, I think we call it RAISE grant, would be approved, we also got the word that the entire water system in the little town of Somerton had failed. And they would now have to go back to wells in order to get water to drink. And it brought to mind that discussion I had with Bob Royer. Rather than solve these problems, here we were faced with a very significant water problem, not just for economic development going forward, but for the health of our school children, to get good, clean drinking water. That would be a problem. And so when the governor called to tell me how important this project was, and I sat down with Justin to discuss this project, I said to him, The governor has made me very aware of how important this is. But there's another little problem which I think this project could go a long ways towards solving. If we could design this bridge so that water pipes could be attached to the bridge so we can get water from the Lake Marion Regional Water Agency over into Clarendon County, it will solve a significant health problem and economic development problem. Well, the highway department sat down, redesigned the bridge, and then that gave me the argument I needed to get my friends in the previous administration to take a look at this project beyond getting people from Miami up to Maine. That's how long Interstate 95 is. It runs from Maine all the way down to Miami. And 200 miles of that is in South Carolina. That argument carried the day. So I want to thank the governor for his visionary leadership. I want to thank the Highway Department for a listening ear to do what was necessary to get this bridge so designed that we can solve a very critical problem that will benefit this state for years to come. So Lindsay, thank you so much for honoring those little requests I sent over there to the United States Congress. And I just want you to know that working with you on this and many other projects has been a great honor. And I want to close with this. When I was a kid, growing up over in Sumter, my father pastored in Orangeburg. And at that time, this bridge was a little two-lane bridge made of cross tiles, the same wood you see on railroads. That's what this bridge was made of. And my mother refused to go to church with my dad when she had to cross that bridge. And so my brothers and I were forced to make the trip with him. You look out the window, straight down to the water, right through the cross tiles. So standing here looking at this picture on what this bridge is going to look like in 3 years brings me full circle. It makes me think that not only am I a windshield congressman, not only will this cause me to look to the future, but quite frankly, every day I think about that experience crossing this bridge as a kid, and it makes me believe in this state more than I ever have. Thank you so much, and Godspeed.
Thank you, Representative Clyburn. Our last speaker will be our senior senator from the state of South Carolina, Senator Lindsey Graham.
Some days I feel like the bug on the windshield. So all I can say about this bridge, Jim's a big fan of this bridge. I hadn't been there that much, but I learned a lot about this bridge. It was worth $350 million for you not to talk to me about the bridge anymore. So, best money we ever spent. So, I came here happy, and I'm happy. But did you say this thing cost $495 million? We only got $350 million. So, we got a problem. Jim, we got a problem. Yeah. So anyway, so Congressman Clyburn is not only been part of history, he's made history. And if you ask Jim, what can I do to help you, he will take you up on it. Big, long list. But the bridge was at the top of the list, And when he said, we're going to run water pipes across the bridge. And I said, why not? I didn't know why, but now I do. Made sense. And as to our governor, I'm going to miss you because you're funny. And I don't hang around a lot of fun people in my day job. But Henry tries to get to yes. He tries to bring out the best in who we are. He's always trying to work with people instead of talking down to them. As to this bridge, the more you know about the old bridge, the more you want the new bridge. I don't know how much longer the old bridge has got in it. But this thing has served our state well. These counties around here, they need everything they can get and then some. And the lake has been an economic engine for this region and really one of the great spots in our state. So how do you build a bridge? It takes a lot of people wanting to get to yes. $350 million, 175 came from the federal government. Thank you, Mr. Administrator. There's a lot of money we spend I can't tell you is a good value, to be honest with you, but that's a good deal. I tell anybody who pays taxes, you got something for your money here. And to all those who are going to build this bridge, if you're into building bridges, there's going to be some business for you in Iran tomorrow, I think. So I don't know if I'd go over there and do it, but building bridges is hard. It's technically hard. It's hard to get the funds to build a bridge. But if you don't build good bridges, you're going nowhere. And I just end with this. A bridge is just more than a structure. What we've done building this bridge is we build the party, we closed the party divide. There was no Republicans and no Democrats when it came to building this bridge. The last administration set this thing in motion, and y'all guys finished it. I like my job when I'm doing stuff like this. This makes me happy. This is why I wanted to get in politics to begin with. And I just want to say this about Jim Clyburn. I'm glad you're running again. He said he's 85, and I said, yeah, midlife is tough. You got a lot of juice left in you. And Henry, I cannot tell you that you're going to be one of the most historic governors in the state of South Carolina. What happened on your watch is just an amazing story to tell. As to me, I grew up in Central. Anybody know where Central's at? Got any Clemson fans? And my dad owned a liquor store in Central, which is 5 miles from Clemson, so we loved the Clemson fans. Saturday was good for business. But I grew up in the back of a pool room, a liquor store, and a bar. And Jim's story is a hell of a story. Only in America can this happen. So I just want to thank you for the honor of having this job. And I want to thank the governor and all the people who made this happen. Yes is usually the right answer when you're doing something good for people. In politics, it's too hard to get to yes. We need more yes. Thank you.